breathtaking action, super fast cars, the latest gadgets, gorgeous locations, even more gorgeous women, and oh, the martinis, shaken and not stirred. With all these ingredients, the name can only be Bond, James Bond. You must be wondering what my connection is to 007. Well, I was on my way to Mahabaleshwar for Diwali when I got a call from Pix asking if I was interested in going to New York for a special screening and to interview the cast and crew of a film. I said, what film? I was told the latest James Bond film, Casino Royale. I love James Bond. I was so excited I almost fell off my seat. So off I flew to New York and I saw the film. It absolutely blew my mind. And I couldn't believe that most of the cast was watching the film for the first time then as well. I just couldn't wait for the next day when I was actually going to meet the director and the cast of Casino Royale. Firstly, I want to say a huge congratulations. We saw the film last night and it's absolutely fantastic.
Good, thank you.
I have to say you reinvigorated the whole Bond franchise with GoldenEye and you're all set to do it again. Tell us how.
You have to realize the last film was the most successful Bond film ever in terms of financial terms. The film they felt was a little too fantastical with invisible cars and all the Ice Palace stuff and so forth.
Okay.
They got the rights to Casino Royale, which is the first James Bond book ever, and they felt it was a perfect opportunity to go back to basics.
And did you find that a big challenge, or were you quite excited by that idea because it is so different, being the 21st film, but still it's actually the first film?
I was very excited by it. I thought it was a really good idea, and they filmed it once before in Hollywood, of course.
Yes.
And it was a disaster. It's an absolute awful film.
Yeah.
I think Peter Sellers, there were 5 different James Bond, including Sir Andrus as James Bond. So we had no competition from that. But the idea to go back to basics was very exciting.
Bond films are the original event films. And of course, as much as it's a realistic film, a Casino Royale, you've got a lot of major sort of stunts and events as well. What in your mind is the most memorable scene, or what makes it an event film as well?
Well, there are 2 action scenes, if that's what you're talking about. One is the free-running sequence at the beginning. I say free-running because the guy that Bond's chasing is one of the world's, if not the world's, greatest free runner. Basically, people who in the suburbs run up and down walls, stairs, do these incredible leaps and jumps. So he was the best free runner in the world that we set Bond after.
Yeah.
And that was, I thought, a very good sequence. But the house scene at the end was another scene I really liked. I mean, it was a very tough scene to shoot, but it was a very unique scene. So.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Have to say you captured the love story amazingly as well.
That's the way I approached it. I mean, clearly the action's the action, and there's a lot of Bond fans who'd be very disappointed if we didn't have that. I worked out 3 big action scenes to have in the movie that didn't unbalance the movie. The main thrust of the movie, which is the emotional spine between Bond and Vesper.
And have you ever been to India?
No.
Well,
I think I was at Delhi airport once. That was about it.
Well, you have a huge fan following in India. Bond is a huge franchise in India. I'm sure Casino Royale is going to do brilliantly. If you gave a message to the Bond fans in India, what would it be?
Well, I would say that this Bond is a very different Bond to what they've seen, but I think they'll love it. And
they will.
And I hope it sets the trend for many more Bonds to, to come.
The vodka martini, a concoction of vodka and vermouth with a thin slice of lemon peel. A Bond favorite. It was actually invented by Ian Fleming in Casino Royale, which was the first Bond novel. When asked to name it, the secret agent aptly called it Vesper, after Vesper Lind, the first and last woman he ever fell in love with. More than just being a Bond girl, you're the first and the last woman that James Bond falls in love with. What is it about Vesper that makes her the one?
Oh my God. I mean, he says it himself on the beach. He's, attracted to her because she's like a sphinx, very mysterious, and he can't really see through her. She's an enigma.
Right.
But I would say, they quite similar. They have the same way of thinking, and they have the same kind of sensitivity. But after that, it's quite difficult to explain and details the chemistry and the love. But
I have to say, your English is impeccable. When I saw the film, I couldn't believe that you're
half
French.
French and half Swedish, right?
Yeah.
So what did you have to do to prepare for the role?
Yeah, I mean, it was quite a challenge to work on the English because I was cast. I got the part 2 days before shooting.
Really?
So they, like, oh my God, get to the Bahamas straight away. And I like to prepare. I'm quite cerebral.
Right.
So it was quite scary. And I was afraid of not measuring up. And they really wanted me to sound posh British. People think, oh, it's only, the pronunciation of just a word. But it's really the rhythm and the stress are different. In French it's more like monotone, whatever.
Well, you've mastered it because it's fantastic.
Thank you.
Your chemistry with Daniel is brilliant. Again, this is very much a love story.
I think, it remains a Bond movie, so you have to please the Bond fans. So you still have the, all the ingredients, so you need all the action. But I think the action here is quite sharp and, very bloody and it's more physical and realistic.
Right.
And which is quite new is the love theme. I hope, women will
totally identify with it.
identify
Absolutely.
with it and understand her, inner struggle.
Have you ever been to India?
Unfortunately, I've never been. I'd love to go there. I love Indian food.
You must come. Yeah, you must, really, whenever you want to. Now you know me, so you must come.
Oh, yeah, I'd love to.